All right, Sistas fans, hope everybody's doing well. In this particular video, let me just say up front, I was going to just title it, Is Gary Watching Porn? But I don't know if YouTube would allow me to have a video with that title without restricting it to like 18 or older ages of users or monetization. I was mad because that Fatima and Zach video I did about the last time they had sex, that video was blowing up, but then it got slapped with the age restriction, and I'm like, damn. But praise the Lord, the haves and the have-not videos have been taking off, so the monetization, I mean the Zach video has limited monetization, so it's not making the full amount of money that it could be, not due to copyright, but due to the content in which I was discussing. So the Lord saw fit to let those have and have not videos come back and make an abundance. My cup has runneth over with YouTube ad revenue, and I hope it continues to do so. But please take a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content on the channel. Follow me on social media, links are in the description below. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. That information is going to pop up at the end of the video, or if you want to just go directly to the PayPal, there's a link in the description box. But after looking at the end of the episode of this week's Sisters, what is it, Friday I'm recording this, so yeah, this week's Sisters, they literally waited until the last couple of seconds, like the beginning of the end credits actually started popping up when Fatima was listening to the sound behind the door, and it sounded like Gary, but the woman's voice, there was a female voice in there as well. It had more of a, it sounded like a voiceover. Well, obviously it was a voiceover, but here's what I mean. It sounded like the woman's moaning and whatnot. It sounded like it was coming from a device like a TV or a phone or a laptop, like, he was watching porn. But honestly, I'm more inclined to think, and I know this is a bit of a stretch here, but at one point, when Gary first came over to Andi's, what was it? Towards the end of season 2, where he came over and said, hey, here's an engagement ring, here's my divorce papers, here's the proof that Jasmine and Morris did everything, I'm innocent of all these charges the feds have over me, here's my therapist information and the fact that I have a ticket to go out of town, but it's, I'm not putting it on you, but I just want to let you know what's going on. And I could be wrong, and you feel free to correct me. I thought he said his therapist was a male. I could have sworn he said his therapist was a male, but in the more recent episode he said, therapy took a lot out of me, and my therapist, she's going to call me later for a second session. So there's that. And, a couple people have interesting theories about, why Gary might be watching porn, but here's the thing. The woman's voice, again, like I said, sounded like it was coming from some sort of device, so perhaps this is the therapist. And I know this is a bit strange here, but what if she's helping Gary, release tension by literally releasing? Come again? Anyway, so I'm thinking that perhaps, this is part of the therapy exercise, and I want to take it a step further, because some people have pointed this out. What if the other night, last night, if you will, when Gary and Andi were in bed after their wedding, but they didn't get married, what if the reason Gary didn't want to have sex with Andi is not because he had his jealous tendencies and whatnot, but because of the fact that maybe he couldn't get it up? Maybe there was something going on like downstairs, so the reason he's going to therapy is to help with his tension, because as a man, yeah, if you have some emotional or mental blockage, then it's not going to work properly. So Fatima's listening like, what the hell? So she's going to call Andi over to the apartment, and Andi's going to come over, and you could see Andi's opening the door, and it looks like Gary's literally sitting at like the end of the bed, or he's sitting in a chair. And then later in the trailer, we literally see him and Andi sitting on the couch, just smiling and talking. And I think that, Andi's going to be like, wow, okay, I'm sorry, I assumed the worst. And she even says to him, so you trust me, don't you? So I feel like this is perhaps Andi telling Gary that she's going to this dinner. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then remember, it's, I believe, at the Carlisle restaurant at 8 o'clock with Robin, only for an hour. And then afterwards, she's going with the girls to sorry about that. Actually hit the trailer by hitting play when I was doing the recording. My apologies. And right after the dinner, she's going to happy hour with the girls. So I feel like overall, Gary is not cheating. He's going through therapy, or maybe his therapy session's over and maybe he's like, well, my therapist just said do something to help me relieve my tension, and well, you said you wouldn't be home until like 10 because you're going to be out late, so I was watching porn or something. I don't know. The closest thing I could think of is like, what was that episode of Family Guy where Lois bought those therapy tapes for Peter, you know, for their all those marriage counseling tapes, and like there was one part where it's like it's only for the men, and then the therapist, like, you know, went from quiet librarian to sexy librarian, and yeah, it was weird. But yeah, I don't know, that could be what's happening. If you feel the same way, you know, let me know. I know some people were theorizing, like, remember that bellman, the bellhop, the guy who's the son of the person who owns the apartment buildings? What if it was him and another girl? No, thankfully I can cross that video off my list because it's completely unnecessary. It definitely appears to be Gary in the room, and he's not cheating. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll go from there. You know, if you have any other video ideas, feel free to hit me up. That's what the social media links are for. And as I said before, please take a moment to like and subscribe.